This video will walk you through basic steps on how to calculate slope of the line in a science class. So at the end of this video, you will know how to actually properly write out the slope with the units representing the relationship between the two variables that you're studying. We're going to first start with writing a proper title for this graph because it is missing. You'll see that we are looking at a relationship between number of beans, and the unit in there would be the number and the mass of the beans measured in grams. So we're going to go ahead and write down the effect of number of beans on mass. To find a slope of the line, you will need a line of best fit. And you'll notice that our line of best fit here actually shows a really good relationship between our two variables. And it looks like most of the green data points that came from your data table are right on the line. That is not always the case. Most of the time you will actually have at least a few data points that will sit outside of your line, and that's okay. What you do want to do when you draw your line of best fit is to try to find the best relationship. And sometimes that best relationship does not include every single data point that comes from your data table. So when you are finding the two data points to start calculating your slope, you want to make sure that none of the data points that are already there, so in our case the little green dots, actually are used in a calculation of the slope. You're going to go ahead and find two brand new points. And I always like to find points that are easy to read because I don't want to have to do a whole lot of work over here. So I'm going to pick this point right there, and I'm going to go ahead and write down those coordinates. So that is 55 and 40. And then I'm going to go ahead and write another data point. Again, something that's really easy to read. I'm going to do this one. And this one looks like it's 25 and 25. Okay. So once I have that, my second step is to use the slope equation. And that is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I'm going to go ahead and substitute my points, the ones that I found. So that looks like 40 minus 25 divided by 55 minus 25. And I'm going to go ahead and keep going. So I'm going to have 15 up on the top divided by 30. And I don't want to leave it that way. It's just not a pretty number. So what we do want to do is definitely reduce those two numbers as much as possible. And we can reduce those numbers by just taking the top number, dividing it by the smaller number. So 15 divided by 30 is 0.5. I'm going to write down that number over 1. And I'm going to explain to you in just a second why we're doing that. So 15 divided by 30 is half, or 0.5. And I'm going to put it over 1 because that 1 will allow us to actually assign another unit to that slope. Let's go back to our original equation right there. And notice that up on the top in the numerator, we are using the y's. The unit for our y's is grams. So I'm going to add a unit of gram up on the top. And then down here on the bottom, I used excess. And then a unit for excess that we used is number, or in our case, it's the beans. So 1 bean. So now we have a perfect slope with the units that actually shows us the story that is happening in our graph. We can go ahead and write the slope as a sentence right now. For every 1 bean, there's 0.5 grams of mass. And this is it. Thank you.